warm welcome to this afternoon's session on undergraduate education in the US. We have with us Sundar Hariganesh, who was an advisee with USIEF last year, and he's going to share his experiences about doing his undergraduate program in engineering at Penn State University. Once his presentation is over, if you have any questions, please do post them in the comment section of our Facebook page, and we'll endeavor to answer it after Sundar's presentation. You may also send your queries on the WhatsApp number that is being provided as a scroll down below the presentation. So please do make sure you send us your questions so we can answer them once the presentation is over. Thank you again for joining us. Over to you, Sundar.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as she said, I'm Sundar from Pennsylvania State University. I was an advisor here last year. I finished my freshman year, and I'm going as a sophomore back to Penn State. So why I chose US? So as everyone knows, the reputation of being in the US, it's a big thing, and I think most of us know it's a big thing. Another thing is the diverse culture there. Not many people know. People think they discriminate people. It's actually not like that. There are all kinds of people from all parts of the world. So the first person I met in Penn State was actually a person from Greece, and then Slovakia. Not met people from those countries. So it's actually really diverse, and there's no worry of discrimination stuff. Support. All universities in this matter are really good. They have a really good support system. They have good people who know all those stuffs. They know what they're doing, and they offer presentations like this, and they are the best. The classroom experience. It's really different from what we learn in India. In India, we learn from the book, but there we learn from experience. So it's just not you sit in class, see a textbook, and look at the board and look at the teacher and learn, but instead you go up, do seminars, do stuff, and then learn by yourself so that you have a better experience. And then the research, as I told you. So when did I start the process of applying to US universities? I did it during my class 10 break, but I would suggest everyone to do it earlier, like during your 9th grade, because there's a lot of stuff you need to plan, and then you need to make a whole profile from it, and just start noting down what all the activities they do, get certificates from them, like whatever kind of paper, whatever you can get from the person who's organizing it. That will be really useful in your thing, and make sure that your children make good connection with the teachers and their principal and stuff, because that is really important. As I told you, the letter of recommendation from your teachers is a really important part of your profile. Starting early is really useful in this case, and the people in Education USA really help you in developing your profile. It was a long process. So you apply to a university, and then you have your SAT score, your TOEFL score, whatever you need for your universities. So you have those, and then you put it online. You have 1,000 universities which match your criteria. To narrow it down, it's a really big task. It's not an easy one. So I had to attend sessions here in USIEF. I took the help of my friends who live there, my parents, obviously, and then we shortened down to 20 universities, and from there we looked at the rankings. We looked at the online rankings of Penn State. We asked people who study in Penn State, and then we got connections from here. So we talked to them, and we looked at the weather. My uncle lives nearby, so that was also a big criteria in me selecting Penn State. So those were some big factors I looked at when choosing Penn State over the other universities I got. Not only that, this is a better university or something. So my program at Penn State. So I am actually an undecided engineering major at Penn State. You can do any kind of major, like you can go completely undecided to Penn State or any college for that matter, and you can go there and work through and find out what's best for you. Um, um, your advisors help you a lot, and you can work through that. There are certain criteria to get into certain majors. So, for example, you need a limit of credits. You can't take more than 140 credits at the end of your 4 semesters, or you can't take less than 118 credits to graduate. Uh, um, it varies for different majors. So GPA requirements are there. So basically, credits are given for the class you take. So if you do in a class for an hour per week, so that's a 1 credit class. That doesn't affect your GPA that much compared to a 3 credit class. So the most of the, like your physics and math, your core courses are 3 or 4 credits rather than 1 credit. And yeah, your advisors, they're really important because especially if you're going undecided like me, because they tell you what you need to do, what courses you need to take, what you need to finish, and they actually help you plan your schedule. Planning your schedule is when you have to look at not only your professors, but you also have to look at your building, your timing between the classes, and those kind of stuff, because Penn State is actually a really vast campus, and moving between one place to another may take time. So you need to look at those criteria as well. Living experience. For me, this year where I lived in the dorm was my best year of my life, because my floor was like filled with football players, and they're massive. So you get to enjoy your life there. You get to meet all kind of people, and student clubs on campus is a really good recreation for you, and they can make you can make a career out of them as well. You can create a club based on your interest, or you can join one if they have a club. There are more than 1,000 student clubs in Penn State. So I have actually joined the soccer club on Penn State, and then there's an international student office where you can go ask your queries. They're really helpful. Yeah, as I told you, there are student clubs for all kind of people. Every single festival is celebrated. I think we celebrated Diwali and even Pongal on campus. So not to worry, every single festival is celebrated there. Police patrolling. On campus there is a student community which provides police patrolling support. Off campus there are policemen all around campus, so you don't need to worry. And then sports arenas, there are in case of Penn State, we have a Beaver Stadium, so that's like the biggest stadium in the country. Then we have football practice arenas, ice hockey arenas, and then many artists come here to the BJC perform. So there are a lot of sports arenas and where you can go express yourself, and even many organizations come there for picking interns and stuff. And yeah, alcohol free campus, there's no alcohol allowed on campus or in dorms. Classroom experience, I would say most of the classrooms are like this, but it depends on the class you take. So if you are taking a class which is required for all the majors, you would need to sit with 700 800 people. But if you're taking a specific class like for your major, you would sit in with 10 people, 20 people. So depends on the class, and you would have a really interactive session with the professors rather than sitting behind and doing something. And most of them provide you online books, but sometimes you need to buy books which are necessary. Homework gives you up to like 30% or 40% of your course grade. So it's really important to finish off homework, and you have to be on time because they have particular software which mentions like the date, so you have to be really good. And then when you're doing projects, as I told you, it's a really diverse campus, and when you're doing projects, you work with students from different countries and they have their own ideas, own things, so you have to work with them, and that provides you an international flavor to the project, and it helps you a lot when you're working with them because you get new ideas, and that helps you boost your knowledge about the thing. Yeah, impact of my US education on my personality. I've become more organized. Being more organized is really important from being there, because if you're not organized, for me, I had to work there. So for me, being organized was really important because I had to split time between studying and working and doing other stuff. And yeah, I can take care of myself. Finances are a really important thing there, because when you go there, you don't know anything, your parents do everything, but then you go there, you get a bank account, you start one, you have to manage your finances, so you need to be really careful where you use your money and on what you use your money. I know parties can be a really tempting thing, but using money on those can sometimes affect your finances, so I've learned that. And exposure, that's another big thing. So that's another big thing I've got from there, and yeah, learning others' way of handling things, because we work with a really diverse culture there, so you know what they do in those situations rather than just doing the normal thing. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that presentation, Sundar. We'll take questions both from the audience as well as from our online audience. If you have any questions for our online viewers, if you have any questions, please post them in the comment section of the Facebook page, or you can even send us a WhatsApp message on the number that is scrolling down on the Facebook page. So do keep your questions coming in while we start taking questions from the in-house audience today. Sundar, if someone here in-house asks you a question, or if I read out a question from an online person, just repeat the question before you answer the question, all right, so that the online viewers can also understand what the question is. All right, thank you. So to the audience, please.
Can you just tell me in detail that 3 credit means how many hours per week we have to attend that class?
3 credits means, okay, she's actually asking me what 3 credit means in hours per week. So if you take a 3 credit course, that would mean you have to work 3 hours, you have to attend class 3 hours per week, every week till the end of the semester, and you have to work 9 hours for that class, for that week, for completing your homeworks and your projects and stuff.
9 hours we have to work.
Yeah. After
3 hours we have to attend, and
9
9
hours.
hours we have to.
Any other questions?
In
Yes.
terms of the SAT, maybe eligibility criteria and marks for the admission, right? Can you give some guidance, or what is your view?
So like the new SAT is out of 1,600. So it actually depends. So if you get it somewhere around 1,300, there are like so many colleges that take in. So I took the help from Education USA to narrow down all my colleges, and so that you can't select from 1,000 colleges. So you need to narrow it down. And SAT scores matter, but yeah, depends on what score you get in.
I probably can also add something here, that if the university has a specific minimum requirement of how much you should have scored in your SAT or ACT, they will mention it on their website. The other way of looking at it is also, you can go to a university's website and look for information about the previous year's class profile. So on that profile, they will definitely share information about the academic profile, the minimum SAT score that those students may have received, or ACT score. So that gives you an understanding of what is the profile of the students who were admitted in the last year, and that lets you understand how competitive the program is or the admission is. So that will give you some idea as well. So these are 2 things that you can definitely look for. Any other questions, please? Yes, please.
I actually want to ask about the health insurance.
He's asking about the health insurance. So you have to pay yearly health insurance in the country. So for international students, you can't. You have to take the college's health insurance. In my case, because they don't accept international health insurance, so you have to pay the health insurance.
After you go to the university.
Yeah, when you pay your fees, or they have a deadline day before which you need to pay.
Also,
Yeah, go ahead.
so once the fees actually you pay after you join, and then after is it once classes start or before classes?
Before classes start.
Before classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many hours in a week you work?
Question. Repeat the
Okay.
question.
He's
How many
asking
hours a week you work?
how many hours in a week I work. You can work up to 20 hours, but I actually work 14. So it depends. They have a really flexible schedule on how you work and where you work. So you can design it according to your schedule.
So you work within the campus and every day?
Yeah. You cannot work outside campus with an F1 visa.
So just to repeat for our online viewers as well, Sundar is mentioning about his on-campus employment, where you're allowed, all international students are allowed to work 20 hours per week part-time when the university is in session, and 40 hours full-time when the university is on a vacation period. Now, as Sundar mentioned, he is working 14 hours a week part-time on campus. You can only take up on-campus jobs in the first year.
And how many courses you are supposed to take per semester? How many credits?
So he's asking me how many courses you can take or how many credits. So there's no like certain limit on how many classes you can take, but there is a limit on how many credits you have to take. So you have to take a minimum of 12, but there's no limit on how much you can cross. Yeah.
So minimum 4 courses you mean?
Some courses may be 4 credits, yeah, or more, depending on the work you put in. As I said, each 1 hour of work per week is 1 credit. So
And this is a public university, right?
yeah,
Penn State.
Penn State, yes.
So how is the fees and internship? Do they give anything or undergrads?
International students have 1 financial grant in Penn State, and yeah.
So the question for our, just to repeat for our online audience, the question was if there is any financial aid available for international students at this particular university. And as Sindhu clarified, there is only 1 grant available for international students at the undergraduate level. There's one question where a student wants to know, what is the correct age for preparing for UG admission in your opinion?
I would say 9th grade is the perfect time to start, because you would need your high school profile. You have to submit it to your college or university. So I would say 9th grade is the perfect time to start your admission process for undergraduate studies.
So we have, I'll just come to you please. We have a question from our WhatsApp, on WhatsApp. How many years do we get post finishing the college to stay in the US?
So after you finish studying in the US, you don't get to stay there unless you want to continue for graduate studies. You have to come back here, extend your visa, and then you go back there. You can't stay there after you complete your undergraduate studies.
I'd like to just add to that point. You can actually do an internship after you finish your degree. It's called the optional practical training internship. So when you finish your degree, all international students get to do 12 months of OPT or optional practical training. But if you are a STEM student, science, technology, engineering or mathematics student, you do get a 24-month extension. So on a student visa, you can stay back. If you're a STEM student, you can stay back for 36 months. If you're a non-STEM student, you stay back for 12 months. But if you wish to pursue further education like a master's or a PhD after that, then of course you do come back and then reapply and apply and then go back for that if you do get admission for that program.
So does that OPT, after your undergrad, if you do an OPT, and after masters you get the same 3 years, or?
So there was the question is whether you get to do the OPT after your bachelor's degree, and suppose you do your master's, do you get to do an OPT after that as well? Yes, you do get to do the OPT both after your bachelor's degree as well as after your master's degree. So we have another question on WhatsApp from an online viewer. When did you start preparing for the SAT exams and other tests? And when did you take those tests?
I took those tests when I was in 11th grade. I started preparing when I finished my 10th grade exams, and I took it during my Christmas break during my Christmas break here during my 11th grade. So that would be a year and a half of preparation, and then I took my SAT then after that.
You had a question?
I want to ask, mostly in the second year of college, a lot of people go off campus.
Mhm.
So I want to know, is it cheaper or is it better to live off campus than in campus?
So depends on the apartment you take. So if you take an apartment for $1,000 a month, it's almost the same thing, but you pay electricity and your internet and stuff outside. Here, I would say it all costs the same. In fact, like living outside might cost more sometimes because you need to pay your electricity and your internet and other stuff, while in the dorms they're like given to you for free.
Also, in many universities, just to add to that point, in some universities they may allow you to move out of campus after the first year, but in some universities it might be staying on campus for 2 years before you can move out. So you might want to check that with the specific university before you make a decision on that.
But first year you have to stay in your dorm.
First year you would have to stay on campus if you're an undergraduate student. But if you're a graduate student, then of course you can live off campus even from the time you join the university. We have a question, it's not very clear, but the student wants to know what are the courses available. So I think I would suggest you at the undergraduate level at Penn State, if you have some idea of the other courses apart from the one you're studying, maybe you could answer that.
So there are like various courses available in Penn State, and me studying in the main campus, econ economics is a big major in Penn State, so is engineering. Then we have, I think, psychology is one big major, and engineering mathematics is a booming field right now, and that's it.
So thank you for that, Sundar. So the best way to find out what majors are available at each university is to look at the university's website.
Yeah.
They would have an undergraduate admissions page where they will clearly specify what majors are offered for that particular year. So do visit the university's website and look for more information on majors offered, not just at Penn State, but at any other accredited US university. Any other questions from the audience? Yes.
What's the workload generally for the first semester? Like, are you given a lot of assignments or?
As I said, it depends on the credits you take. So there are certain courses you need to take before you enter your major. So if you want to take them in your first semester, you would have more course load. But if you want to take it in your second semester, you can just reduce your course load in the first semester and take it in your second semester. But
Which semester is it better taking?
I would say take it in your second semester because you're settled in and you know what to do more. So it would help you settle in more and you know what to do after that. So you'll be more comfortable taking those courses and getting a better GPA.
So we have another question from a student who wants to know whether he can apply to an American university, but he's not very clear about what major he wants to study. So can he apply as an undecided major?
You can surely you can apply as an undecided major. I applied engineering but undecided, so you can obviously apply as an undecided major and go there and check out what you want. But make sure that you finish your internship major courses before selecting your major.
We have another question. The student wants to know: did you write SAT subject tests? Is it mandatory?
So the SAT subject test, I didn't take them personally, but certain universities might need them. You can find it on the website, the university's website. But in case of Penn State, they didn't need it, so I didn't take it.
Okay, we have another question.
Does that give any advantage by taking the subject?
It makes you more open, open to more universities. That's it. Like, it doesn't give you any advantage.
So the question was, does taking SAT subject tests give you an advantage over other students when it comes to admission? I'd like to add another thing is some universities will clearly require it as part of their admission policy. But And what it does help with is it helps to show the university that you're really good in that particular subject. So that can really help you when the admission committee is reviewing your documents. And if they find that you've done very well in subject tests, it definitely helps your profile. So you can take it, but if it's not required, obviously if all the universities that you've shortlisted don't need it, then you don't need to take it. But if even one university does have that as a requirement for the admission, it's worth taking the exam. Okay, there's another question from a student. Did you need to go for any coaching for SAT preparation, or do you think is it really needed, or did you study at home? What did you do?
So during my SAT, I bought books from Amazon and used it, like used the practice books and the official SAT book rather than going to a coaching center. But some of my friends did go to a coaching center. I don't know how much it helped, but personally for me, I felt more prepared when I learned by myself. So it depends on you whether you want to go to a coaching center, which you feel more comfortable in. So yeah, personally, I did my work from my home.
Okay.
How long did it for TOEFL preparation?
The question was, how long did you take for TOEFL preparation?
I prepared for my TOEFL for 3 months with my mom because she's a English major. So it just took 3 months. It's a really basic English test. You will need to prepare for it, but it's just a basic English test. So you should be able to clear it easily.
Yes, please. Question.
The question is, you mentioned about the OPT.
Mhm.
So how do you get the opportunities? Is it through the university, or you get to find out on your own?
Okay. So he's asking about the OPT. So how you apply for it and how you get it. Does your college tell you or not? So when you go onto the website and of your college, at the end they give you an option to apply for an OPT. So you can go there and apply for an OPT, or you can meet with your advisor, talk about it, and he'll help you with the process of applying for an OPT. So yeah, the college does help you sometimes. Like they don't directly, like they email you stuff, but yeah, they directly don't tell it to your face.
I think I'd like to clarify that. US universities don't have this concept of placement like we have in colleges here, right? But what they do have is a careers office which will provide information on opportunities that companies inform them about. Those opportunities, the information about that will be available with the careers office, and they'll be able to guide students about those opportunities. But the student will have to approach the organizations themselves and apply for those positions themselves. So that's something the student will have to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How much is that? Is there a lot of pressure to get GPA 4.0 or?
Not
The question is there a lot of pressure, to be academically very good and to get a GPA of 4?
Not really, but like depends on your major. So if you want to get into a really big major, you would need a 4. Like if your major requires 3.6 or something, you would need to achieve it to get into your major. But there's no real pressure to get 4.0, like unless you want to do your masters and in Harvard or something. There's no real pressure to get 4.0. Extracurriculars matter as well. They're really big part in US universities, so they take that into accommodation as well. Not only academics, extracurriculars matter.
Yes, please.
You can sit down.
People come from different countries. Right?
Mhm.
Can you share your experience?
Mhm.
Students from China, Turkey,
Mhm.
all over the world,
Mhm.
and there are local American
Yeah.
students over there. So can you share your experience? How from day one you all try to blend?
So he's asking us how did we blend in with other people from other countries as well as Americans themselves. So when we go in, you have a thing called international student orientation. So you are put in with students from other countries, not only from India but other countries. So you meet people there where you talk with them, you make friends, and then you are and you make good relationship because you're there with them for like 1 week and you stay together with them. But after that you go into an NSO where you mixed in with every single person. So orientations are really helpful in making friends. And in case of the campus, it's a really big campus, and unless you really want to talk to them and go approach them to talk to them, you wouldn't see them on campus directly. But they are really good with you. If you want to talk, they're always there to approach, and they're really approachable and talk.
Are you allowed to go out outside the campus? Go out locally during the weekends?
Okay, the
Yeah.
question is, are students allowed to go out of the campus locally during the weekends?
So you can travel out of the campus. There are no rules or regulations to whether you travel out of campus, but when you are traveling out of the country, you need to get a travel signature. But otherwise, you can travel out of campus anytime you want. But it's there's no regulations on whether you have to stay on campus or not. You can go out.
Follow-up, what are the documents you need to carry all the time?
So he's asking about what documents we need to carry. So I would suggest take your I-20 and your passport all the time with you. Those are the two things you would need when you're traveling outside. Yeah, if anyone asks you where you're from or something, because the I-20 tells you you're from this college, and yeah.
Yes.
How do you carry your I-20 everywhere? Like,
Uh,
when you go out of campus, you just
Eh,
College.
student badge, just a badge is fine, or
so like instead of your I-20, you can carry your ID card as well. Like your ID card is fine. It's almost the same purpose. It's the same thing. Oh yeah, but yeah, it's the same thing. You can carry it around.
So the question was, when you go out of the campus, do you need to carry the I-20 all the time? So you may not need to carry the I-20 itself. You could have a copy of it if you want, saved up online, and if you can access it on your phone, that's good. But you can apply for a state ID or and a driving license when you're a student there. So that is also an ID. And you can always, and if you're asked by somebody, you can always tell them that you're a student at this particular university, and you can give maybe your DSO or designated school officials contact if somebody needs to meet them or ask them anything about you.
So for Penn State, like what is the average yearly cost?
The question is, what is the average cost at Penn State for 1 year for the undergraduate program, including living expenses?
So the average cost would be around like 45,000. So in your I-20, when you get your I-20, they mentioned the total cost in the first page of your I-20. So you would know which is the maximum cost it can go up to in that first page of your I-20.
So we have one question from on WhatsApp. During the admission process, which class years at academic credentials would the university look for from your high school?
So they don't particularly look at
1 year.
1 year. They look at the 4 years as a thing, and like if you have been improving from your 9th grade to 12th grade, or if you have gone down, that's what they basically look at. So they don't actually concentrate at one particular year.
what's the best mode to travel within campus?
So he's asking what's the best mode to travel
Within the campus.
within the campus. So when you're traveling within campus, depending on your class, like you can walk. It's a walkable distance. You can actually walk. Some people skate. They use bicycles. Personal wishes, but I prefer to walk on campus. Yeah, it's just a mode of exercise.
There might also be, some campuses might have a shuttle service available, which allows you to move from place to place within the campus. So it depends on how big the campus is and what facilities they offer you. Just to clarify, when Sundar was mentioning about how much it would cost per year at Penn State, it is in dollars
Yeah.
and not in Indian rupees. He was saying it is in dollars. So just to clarify that. Yes, please.
You mentioned about $45,000. So how should you typically plan? Is it for the whole 4 years you need to have there in the bank, or is it for how often what is the thing they look for? At any point of time, you have this much funding in the bank. How to plan for it?
Yeah. So he's asking how to financially plan and what the colleges look at when you're applying for the college. So they basically look at whether you have sufficient funds to finish your first year of college. That's what they look at when you're applying for the college. So if you have a loan or if you have your bank statements or something which you can fund your first year through, that's what they basically look at. And after that you can manage yourself, that's their thing. But first year you need to have your funds to apply. When you're applying you need to have funds for the first year of college. That's the thing they look at.
Like from the second year, how the money is transferred? Or they just transfer from here through wire transfer to your account, right, from India?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question is, can you wire transfer from the second year onwards? Do you wire transfer? You would need to check with the university if there is a requirement for a certain amount of money to be kept with them or something like that. But largely, initially, when you go after the orientation, you pay your fees for the first year. You need, even when you're applying, you need to show the university that you have enough money to pay for the first year of education. And of course, paying the money, you could subsequently keep regularly transferring to your son or daughter and to their account in the US, and then they would have to make the payment to the university.
Yeah.
You had a question?
How are you managing the winter season?
The winter season.
So she's asking about how we manage in the winter season. So Pennsylvania is a really cold place. It goes down to minus 20, minus 25. You have jackets and you have to wear shoes and gloves, and yeah, like if the snow is too much they would cancel classes in sometimes, but it's really rare. Unless it's like 10 feet of snow, they don't cancel classes. It's a really rare situation, but it does happen. 10 feet of snow does happen in Pennsylvania. It does.
And I think some universities also have underground tunnels, especially the northeast. If you go, some universities have underground tunnels where you probably don't have to go and walk in the snow at all. You can just go from one building to another building through those underground tunnels. It depends on the university campus that you're applying to. And from what I've understood and the students I've spoken to, they cope. They learn to adjust. I think parents feel more cold than the students themselves feel. You know, so.
When you asked about the mode of transportation, that's the difficult part when you have a cycle or skateboard during winters. Like you can't skate through the snow.
Yeah, because you skate, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this question I'll answer. It says, what help is provided by USIEF? So the USIF membership is an annual membership. It's for 1 year. We charge 10,000 rupees for the membership. Each student who takes the membership is assigned to an advisor who will guide the student through the US university application process over the course of that 1 year. So they would guide you on how to shortlist universities, but the student is required to do some homework and research. It's not like we'll tell you these are the list of universities you should apply for. We would expect you to do, we'll advise you on what information to look for, where to look for that information, and you would have to come up with your list of universities to discuss it with your advisor before you as a student decide which are the final 10 or 12 universities you're applying to. In addition to that, we would do 3 reviews of your essay. We have a reference library here, so as a member you can access our test preparation books for SAT preparation or ACT or TOEFL preparation. We have books, but it's a reference library, so you'll have to come here to our office to use those books. Apart from that, as I said, we do 3 reviews of your essay. We invite you for our webinars as well as for our information sessions. And if you're applying as an international student, then we'll invite you for our visa information session, and later on as well, you can come and attend our pre-departure orientation session. So this is the support that we'll provide you over the course of that 1 year. We do not fill out your application forms. You will have to do that yourself, but at any point of time, if you have questions or you're not clear on how to respond to a question on your application form, you can seek some advice from your advisor. So those are the services that USIF provides. Since the membership is valid for 1 year, I would suggest you either take it in the middle of your 11th grade, or maybe when you finish your 11th grade, you can take the membership, so that it's valid for during the time that when you're actually applying. If the membership is valid, then you can definitely get the benefit of your advisor's support for that. Any other questions?
You said, I think you both referred, I think you can apply to 10 to 12 universities. So normally how many universities you apply and how many you get admit, and
So in my case, I apply.
Just repeat the
Yeah.
question for the audience,
So he's asking about normally how many colleges would you apply to and how many would you get selected for. So you can apply. For me personally, I applied up to 16 colleges and I was selected for 14. You can apply a number from 10 to 15, 10 to 14. That'd be a good number, so that you are sure you at least get 10 or 11 of them, so that you have a room for choice and you know what you're selecting, and you can work through and select the universities you actually want.
So ideally, I would say 10 to 12 colleges is what you should plan to. It depends on your preference as well. Because you are after all paying application fees to each of those colleges as well. So I think the family can decide on what would be most judicious for them.
I have some specific question, but I'm not sure. Okay. My son is doing the NIOS. He doesn't have 11th grade. So he told about from 9th to whatever current is what they look for evaluation, right? So if he doesn't have 11th grade scores, what happens?
For students who are doing the NIOS program, you could perhaps get a letter from the NIOS board explaining how it works and share that with the university, because we have had students in the past who have done the NIOS curriculum and who have been admitted to US universities. But it would be helpful if you can get a letter from the board explaining how the system works. So, because in the US also there are students who are homeschooled who do apply to universities. So it's not unheard of for students to get into universities, but it would be useful if the student is taking the exam at a particular school here in Chennai, maybe the school person can also give some letter, or if you can get a letter from the board and send that with the student's application, it would be helpful. So I think that's it. We don't have any more.
Okay, she's asking about the food there. So food wise, you can eat in your commons, like canteens. So they have a buffet system where you can go there and pay meal points and then take your food out, or you can't cook inside your dorms because they have fire sensors, so you can't cook inside your dorms, so you have to go eat outside the campus, or you have to
Eat in the
cafeteria.
But how difficult has it been adjusting to American food? Is that what you were asking?
Okay, adjusting to American food is difficult. They have a different cuisine. Like, if you go outside to other restaurants, they have good cuisine. There are Indian restaurants outside. You can go eat there. But as I said, managing your finances is an important thing. So you have to make sure you finish your meal points and then go eat there. Nice luxury restaurants.
But when you say go outside to eat, I thought within the dorms you have the cafeteria.
So he's asking where the cafeteria would be. This place, Penn State, is like a whole city. Like it's a big place. So you have roads connecting. So you just go out there and you have. So for the place you live in, for the block of dorm you live in, you have a certain cafeteria place, so you can go there. Or going out to campus is like going through the road and going out.
If there are no final questions, then I'd like to thank Sundar for spending this afternoon with us in spite of it being his vacations. So thank you so much for the presentation and for answering the questions from our audience members.
Thank you.
And thank you to our audience for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.